Get involved. Get involved.
What do you guys really think is the reason why? Well, we know the reason, but maybe a lot of people don't know. But what's the reason why so many of our brothers and sisters is in jail? What is the plan that's working against them that's causing them to go to jail?
Me, myself, coming from jail, I know firsthand the feeling of how it feels to be incarcerated. Then once upon release, I'm not able to get job, schooling, housing, and some places even medical. I think it's a vicious cycle which we're in, which prevents us from reaching our full potential. 13th Amendment in Section 8, it clearly states that once you commit a crime, you voluntarily put yourself into slavery. But once you complete it, then all your rights should be restored to you. And as a result of me being an Afro-American, my rights have never been restored to me. So everywhere I go to get a job, I'm being turned down. So that keeps me in this vicious cycle, because we're survivors by nature. So okay, if I can't get a job, then I'm gonna resort to what I used to do, which is violence, crime, and eventually murder. And I'll go back and I get the same number, just a different case, and it keeps us entangled in this poverty-stricken society in which they want us to fail because it's already designed.
The incarceration system, is a business. We all know this. But it stems from schooling. Men and women, boys and girls, we learn different. We're both on structure, but women are more on reading. You could give them an agenda, and they could follow that agenda, whereas men are active, very active, and if they're not moving in a type of movement, they become flustered, they become frustrated. Whereas like if you had like the vocational programs in school, learning how to paint, auto mechanics, all these different vocations, these men that may get incarcerated for whatever reason, when they come out, they already have a trade that they can go use. So it's a destruction from the ground level. And the prison system is a huge business. We know they make cups, they make everything in the prison system. So jobs that regular people can't get is because they're doing it in the prison system. And this is the vicious cycle that you have. It's no more than prohibition with alcohol. We want to continue to look at what are black men doing, what are black people doing. But that's not the problem. The problem is the system. Because black people are not doing nothing that white people are not doing.
That's right.
Black people are not doing that anybody are doing. You can say, okay, you can fish here, but now you need a license. And if you don't have a license, they could criminalize you.
Right.
You see? Yeah. Or if you selling T-shirts on the street and you didn't pay your taxes, they could criminalize you on that. So everything is about criminality.
Well, just to touch base on what everyone else has already said, I thought back to the indentured servant in the 1800s. It was the same thing where they would do sweeps to arrest the men at that time because they so-called abolished slavery, but they still needed bodies to do the work. So to build the railroads, to work the coal mines, the cotton fields, they would do sweeps. You was rolling the dice, you was getting arrested and being put in jail. So it's the exact same thing. So we have to stop looking at it as something new and as something that's been going on forever. You're cheap labor to the system. Just like then, it was $8 to rent somebody from the prison system to work in the coal mine. They died, you rent another person. So it was just that easy, and it's the exact same thing. And just to touch on what Elijah said with the computers, now they have them working call center jobs in the prison system. So when you're calling JCPenney, you call in the prison system talking to somebody. So they need someone who could do that job.
You can have a set of twins, okay, born in the exact same house, the exact same neighborhood, exact same parents. Each one has a different path. One child might have a teacher at school that talks to them all the time, tells them, oh, you a good child, you a good child. Other kid might be in the classroom where the teacher eating a sandwich and hollering at them in the hallway, okay, and disrespecting them because she already labels him as a failure. One kid might turn to go to college, and one kid might turn to the streets for that love. What it is it's a disconnect here. The disconnect here is you got to get them young, first and foremost. You have to get them real young to start putting them in position where they can, go and exceed and excel. Because if you don't put them in a position where they got things, like you said, things to do, places to be at, they're going to go in the wrong direction. You look at the whole scenario of, I'm going to say it, these damn charter schools. I'm going to say it. These charter schools are basically, what they're doing is, it's a straight up pipeline to prison. You got these kids, some of these parents can't even afford belts, can't afford sweaters, but you going to charge me a fine because my kid can't afford a sweater? And then you going to give my kid demerits, so many demerits they get, then they got to pay to get out the demerits. All this stuff is a system to make the rich richer, the 1% to get richer, and the poor people to stay poor. But we as the poor, the 99%, we need to stop acting like we poor and be rich in our brains. Because right now, I don't understand how so many of us, and it's so frustrating how so many of us don't see what's going on. They don't, and if they do see it, they so nonchalant and want everybody else to save them and want everybody else to step up for their problem.
I think we need to have resources when our brothers and sisters come home so they can learn the job readiness, education for those who don't have the education, job training skills, and most importantly, they have to have housing. Because being a former counselor, one of the things we always did first was we would go help them with their ID, birth certificate, and social security card. Those were accessories that they needed in order to be in the streets. Because if they didn't have those things, they would find themselves being pulled over, or they couldn't get the services that they was looking for. For instance, if you go to get your aid, a link card, you have to have ID to get that. I just got out. How do I have ID to get that? So that's one of the things we need to equip our people with once they come home, and properly train them on how to get a job, how to do the mock interviews, things of that nature. And most importantly though, for real, they need some housing. Because I don't know if people know that over 35% of the inmates in prison do not have a home location. So if you don't have a place to go, they send you right back through the system. And then that means you wind up doing the rest of your time in the system. Whereas if we had some resources and some housing projects, I think they can come home and they can be better prepared. The solution to these problems are black-owned businesses, education, black unity, and black love.
We keep looking, we always looking inward. It's like a woman that's getting beat by her man, and she asks herself, what am I doing wrong? And always making excuses for her man. Well, he had a hard day at work. You see what I'm saying? That's like saying, well, his pants were sagging, or his music was too loud. We always want to make excuse. It's the Stockholm Syndrome at its best. We always want to make excuse for the people that's oppressing us. And we always looking inward. And then we start to hate ourselves. Now that we hating ourselves, we don't have no self-love. Now we're murdering each other. So these are different things. It's always another cycle to it. It's always another level to it. And as you looking at, I always hear people talk about solving the effect. We're going to solve the effect. We're going to solve the effect. The incarceration rate, but we're not going down to the cause.
That's it.
And the cause is that this is a business.
Yes.
And people don't want to lose. And as long as these people are making money off of us, they're going to continue to incarcerate our babies. From the school system, what are all these problems going around in schools? They had the nerve, it was the audacity that they went and did that strike on April 1st. April Fool's Day. They telling you in your face, it's a joke.
Yeah.
And these people don't care about these babies, man. these are the same fights that was going on in high school when I was in high school. These are the same fights that was going on in high school when my brother was in high school, and he's 11 years older than me. So at the end of the day, we have to solve the solution. We have to give these young brothers and sisters in school, if they're going to be in school, they need to be in the vocational program. They don't need to be learning about history. They don't need to be learning about anything like that. They need to be in school learning about the things that's going to keep them from, quote unquote, selling drugs, being incarcerated.
And it's not going to stop, really, I don't know how to get my words together for it, but it's just, we have to stop looking at it like it's brand new. This has been going on, and this has been built, and it's a system that's set there and is working, and it's continuously working, because we too busy looking at, oh, how can we help them when they get out? But you got to figure out a way to get them into other things to keep them off the streets, which is what they're taking away. They take away everything to keep them from being busy, and idle minds gonna get in trouble.
Yes.
So it's basically, you got to keep the kids busy, give them a skill, and teach them something. Just like some people, photography, you know, as our videographer's son, beautiful artist. And you got to keep the kids busy, otherwise he would be in trouble if you didn't stay on his back. Rhonda's son, she kept him busy. Basketball, activities, sports, to keep them out of trouble. And you have to stay on your kids. You just can't let your kids raise themselves. That's another thing. We have a big problem with our kids are raising themselves, unfortunately, because we're stuck in the system working a job.
Yep.
And both parents have to work the job.
Yep.
And so it's a vicious cycle, but again, we have to, the main thing is stop looking at it like it's new.
Is basically we need to get these kids very young, build them as soldiers, grow them up to be soldiers from birth, so they won't fall for anything. And we also have to realize the more we're divided, the more they conquer us. So if we basically get the economics right, you won't have to go sell drugs and they can't get you. If we sit up there and stop taking everything and dealing with everything, they can't just keep on attacking us. Because like I said, we have to look at these kids as our new soldiers, because it's definitely a war on us. And the war is trying to put us back on this plantation. So economics, like you said, economics, education, and basically just, man, stop falling for any and everything.